0114, which went into effect after October 2013. The County Commission must allow the public a reasonable opportunity to speak on any proposition before the Commission. My question to Commissioner Johnson is, how do you, as an elected official, interpret that?
If I may, given 30 plus years, 34 years of public service, and in many commission meetings, and state level meetings, etc. I, for one, have been taken back on some of the activities here of the board. It's in my day, I don't know just how to phrase this, because again, I've come through some uniqueness here that I never witnessed in public hearings before. And I interpret it that way. And the public input, the public, as I've always understood it and seen it and been involved in it, has a right to bring up any issue they want to bring up. It's at that, on the public input. And then at that time, the chairman, once they bring it out and get their point out or state what it is they want, they can make the determination then to continue on, put it on the agenda for the next meeting or whatever, where it would require be put in a packet with information, or discuss it then on the agenda of the next meeting. And I want to say, for me, and while you're up here, Mr. Ellis, one of the things that set me back, and I want everybody here to know, it's been a repeat, in my view, and the other night, with all due respect to the chair, it just seems that we went from one point to another, and it's always dodging when it becomes a necessary issue, in my view, to hear the people. And there's a history of it, and yet everybody can go look at it. There's video after video, from gag orders to denying audit general reports, put them on the shelf, one thing after another. In my view, the board has buried its head, and I stand on that. Everybody can look at the videos, go back and look at the videos. So if I'm answering your question, and you've opened that door, I want to make that clear. And I'm going to say this, and with all due respect to all the commissioners, this is my opinion, Mr. Melendez, I'm going to tell it to you. You're going to be the new guy in the seat. Don't bury your head in the sand. Read your state statute, read your obligation, read what it is that you need to do for this community independently. And it's a lonely place if you do it that way. But that's what the requirement for the Florida state statutes require. So, in answering your question, that's it. No, public input is public input. This is your forum. This is the people's forum. Yes, we got to maintain control. We can't have outrage. The chairman has to control it. But at this part of the meeting, after all the agenda items, public input must be heard. But again, I'm going to reiterate, during that public input, irregardless of what it is, it needs to be there as long as it's done straightforwardly, no outrageousness. The chairman has to make that determination at the time, depending on what it is, and I'm going to repeat it one more time. Then it goes to the next meeting, for example, put it on the agenda or whatever. The other thing I want to clarify, being this door has been open, as a commissioner, and when you are sworn in, we are commissioners 24/7. Just like that sheriff is law enforcement 24/7, and gentlemen right there 24/7. And when you're on public payroll, you are a public servant. So if that answers your question, I know it's a long way around, but I want to get it out.
Thank you. There's a difference of opinion on the term proposition, and I'm keen on that. I'm aware that some people might interpret proposition to mean, any business that's on the paperwork or the meeting minutes that come before the commission. I personally think that particular statute was designed for the public, and it was designed so that any proposition from the public could be brought forward to the commission. And so, with that proposition, I have one that I would like to make, and that is for Commissioner Mike Thompson to resign his duties on the commission based on racial bias, based on a lot of issues, conflicts of interest. Clearly, in this community, faith has been lost in him. I've heard so many statements from so many different individuals that really feel, and these are people that voted for him, people that feel that they've been had, and that's a sad thing for me to hear. I mean, when I first heard that, I was like, whoa, this is a really big issue. And so that's my proposition.
Thank you.
Tanya Richardson. I live on Griffinwood Road in Watilla. I just wanted to agree with that proposal for Mr. Mike Thompson to resign. He is a representative of the people, and if he can't be a representative of everybody without having any kind of feelings towards certain people that are better than others, then he is not. He is in a glass house 24/7 because he is held to a higher standard than us. This is why he is where he is at. So I propose that he resigns because of his bias. Thank you.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Dion Jensen. I live at 1529 Mission Street. That's me, I'm sorry. I live at 1529 Lincoln Street. I would like to tell you all a little story. Okay, it's very short. In 1971, 72, 73, I was a cheerleader for DeSoto County in Arcadia. Okay? I could remember as plain as day. And when I heard this, it's like gave me a setback. Okay? We go on out of town, we go on off trips, on out of town trips with the team. And I was the only black cheerleader. Therefore, I sat there. I rode in a car with several other girls of different color. I sat there and back, and listened to the racial slurs as the N-word. And at that time, I was so afraid to say anything. And when I heard this, that just sent me all the way back. There's no place and time for that type of language statement. You all represent whole Hardee County, the whole county. And I think now my children is out of this county. But I have 2 grandkids that's in this county. And every one of you all have input on what goes on with my grandchildren once they leave my house to school, the recreation. And therefore, you all sit down and let this happen on your board. One of you all, Mr. Thompson, made this type of statement. It's not right. It's the ignorancy. Where have you been? Therefore, at my end, you should resign.
State your name and address, please.
Charles Ford, 4915 Dog Park. I think it's very simple. Listen, everyone in Hardee County all the way around the world. Unless we want to go back to Jim Crow, I think Mr. Thompson needs to come.
Yes, sir.
My name is Darlene Fields, and I live in Bowling Green. And I think Mr. Thompson should resign also, and it's not only for just the racial comments, but the comments about people not having money to do stuff. I stay at home. We live on one income. My husband happens to work for the county, okay? So we're paying for you to talk about us and say people that, half the people that voted for you don't have money. It was okay when you were running for them to vote for you, but now that you're in, then it's not right. You don't want somebody up here that doesn't have a job, or you don't want somebody in here that's not going to grease your pockets. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
State your name and address, please.
Robert Cole, Wachula. Mr. Chairman, I think you ought to resign too, because you tried to protect him last time by shutting us up and violating our First Amendment rights to free speech. And two other commissioners out there, your silence spoke volumes. You need to go too, because that showed support for this man.
Yes, sir.
Right. Two other incidents occurred recently that lend a little irony to this whole situation. That is, one's already been mentioned, that's Horst. When Mr. Thompson led the charge to get rid of Horst, he said, Horst uttered one word. Of course, we all know that the reason he got rid of Horst was he asked too many questions. But Mr. Thompson said it was because he uttered one word, actually an acronym, but RICO. That one word he just couldn't get over. He couldn't forgive Horst for. We had to get rid of Horst. Well, that one word that Mr. Thompson uttered is far worse than RICO.
Amen.
He needs to resign. If it was good enough for Horst, good enough for you.
Yep.
The other incident is Mr. Thompson is now leading the charge to get rid of Don Samuels, basically for the same reason, asking too many questions. But Mr. Thompson, he didn't say it was too many questions. He said, Mr. Samuels is not helping the county move forward. Well, what Mr. Thompson said, did that help the county move forward? No, it moved the county back 50 years. It's a disgrace, it's an embarrassment.
Yep.
He needs to resign.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Rose Simon, 309 South Road, Wachula. I didn't come to ask for anyone to resign. What I came to ask for is equal opportunity for the black community. We need a lot of work done down in our area. We need lights. I'm an elderly handicapped, and I don't have lights on my street. I don't have sidewalks to walk down. And that's help. I'm asking for help. I'm not asking for anybody to resign. Everybody deserves a second chance. And an apology would be great. But I'm not asking for anyone to resign. But we do need help down in the black community with our lighting situation and our sidewalks.
Thank you. State your name and address, please, for the record.
Laura Cook, 690 Chambers Boulevard, Wachula, Florida. I just come up here to say a few words because I'm a God-fearing woman. And I can say the years that I met Mr. Grady Johnson, he was an outstanding commissioner. Things I went to him about our community down there, he tried to do his best to get it done. And I hope that the commissioner that we got coming in now, Mr. Melendez, work with us, not against us. Work with us. Get to the root of all the problems, not just the surface, to the root. When you get to the root, that's when everything springs up. So I'm asking for myself that our commissioner work with us to get things done in our community. Because it seems like when money being put in this county, we get left out. Because we don't never come up here and say nothing. But now them days is behind. It's time for us to come together as God's children, not no colors or nothing, but as God's children, come together, unify, and get things done right in Hardee County.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Luann Thompson. I live at 1232 Martin Luther King. I'm here for two reasons. The
first reason is Mike Thompson resignation.
Yep.
And the second reason is when Hurricane Charlie hit Hardee County, it was a disaster area for the whole county, not just part of the county. My house is still sitting unfixed from Hurricane Charlie. And that was due to y'all, the commissioners. I'm still homeless, living with my mother. And this the way I'm supposed to be done? This the way my nephew is supposed to be done? He's not the N-word. That's a young man. A beautiful young man.
Intelligent man.
Thank you. Very intelligent.
State your name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Belinda Anderson, 306 Martin Luther King. It very well disheartened me to hear this young man say a word like that. These days are past and gone. It says that in the Bible. These days are past and gone. We don't live for those days anymore. We live for today. I have been a bus driver since 1989, and I have had all different races of kids on my bus, and I love every last one of them. I know some of you all are on the board around there, sitting around here. Now, I know you all, and you know me. I have always tried to teach all the kids to respect our law enforcement, to respect our other people that are in higher places, whether what color, read, or whatever they are. Respect. And everybody in here, if you cut your arm right now, you bleed just like I bleed. Yep. Your blood is the same color as my blood. God is so good, and I'm glad he brought this to our attention so we can see what is really in the hearts of some of the people that sits on this board. I really want to cry because I can't believe I was born and raised in this county. Oh my gosh. And I love my county, and I'll do everything I can for my county. Listen, it's some good white people, it's some bad white people. Yep. It's some good black people, it's some bad black people. It's some good Hispanic people, it's some bad. But we don't call people names. When I was born, my mom gave me the name of Belinda. And that's who I want y'all to consider me as. And you in your places, I would consider you as Commissioner so-and-so, or even Lawyer Everett. I would respect you for who you are. Don't call me or others out of their names. And also, on my bus, as a referral, if they use that word in, they are written up and they're suspended from off the bus. So, Mr. Thompson, I think that you should go.
Okay, my hand's getting tired.
State your name and address, please.
Hey, my name is Toby Ellis.